I want to equip you with 4 holiday recipes that are ultra simple and actually healthy. Instead of walking away from whatever gathering you're headed to next feeling bloated, maybe with a sugar hangover, no. That is not how we do things here with Coach Rain. You get to stay in the joy even after the meal, especially if I have any say in it. Save this episode right now so you can come back to it when you need to reference a recipe, and then get ready to jot down some notes. These ones are worth trying.
Do you struggle to stay consistent with healthy eating and just want food decisions to be easy, guilt-free, and sustainable? You're in the right place. Hi, I'm Chelsea, nutritionist and fitness coach who overcame restrictive yo-yo dieting and body image insecurities using simple nutrition tools, all backed by biblical principles. And now I help women like you find that same freedom with food so you can feel confident in the look and health of your body for decades to come. I'm ready to dive in with you. So grab that cute notebook you've been hanging on to, and let's go.
Are you struggling with staying consistent with healthy eating because it takes so much brain power? First, you have to look for a healthy recipe, figure out all the ingredients, go get all the stuff for it, measure it all out, have the time to put it together after a long day's work, and then you're still left wondering if it is actually healthy. Sis, listen when I say it does not have to be so difficult, despite what diet culture tells us. Join me in The Sustainable Way, my one-on-one nutrition coaching program where I teach you my exact method to making eating healthy consistently as simple as possible. Like the very thing that has allowed me to move across the country, run a business, serve at church, be a wife, travel the world, break up with tracking macros, and maintain my Miss America physique 8 years after the competition. Don't wait to make the whole eat healthy consistently thing your lifestyle. Head to coachrain.com/nutrition coaching to ask me all your questions or even get started today. And now, welcome to Nutrition for Christian Women. Goodness, I just love Christmas. I am feeling particularly spirited today, just sitting and looking at the lights, listening to Christmas music, thinking about everything Christmas means and all we have to be grateful for. I love celebrating Jesus and connecting with friends and family. It's just wonderful. And I know Christmas can also be tough for a lot of us. So if that's the case for you, I hope listening to this episode can impart a touch of joy into whatever you're dealing with right now. And know that I am praying for you, my friend. Now, part of why I love Christmas is because of the opportunities to gather with friends and family around delicious tables of food. We get to talk, laugh, sing, share stories, make new memories, and nourishing people is one of my love languages. So in this episode, I want to equip you with 4 holiday recipes that are ultra simple and actually healthy. Instead of walking away from whatever gathering you're headed to next feeling bloated, maybe with a sugar hangover, no. That is not how we do things here with Coach Rain. You get to stay in the joy even after the meal, especially if I have any say in it. Save this episode right now so you can come back to it when you need to reference a recipe, and then get ready to jot down some notes. These ones are worth trying. Starting with the main event, an entree that is incredibly simple, doesn't break the bank, and still makes quite the impression for presentation. And that is the Cornish hen. What I am listing for ingredient quantities will work for 2 hens, which is roughly 2 adult servings. So adjust this one as needed. Here's what you'll need. 2 Cornish hens, about 1.5 pounds each, 2 teaspoons of salt, 1 teaspoon of ground black pepper, 4 whole cloves of garlic, 7 sprigs of fresh rosemary. Keep 4 of them whole and then chop up 3 of them. 10 sprigs of fresh thyme. Keep 4 of them whole, and with the rest of the 6, just take the leaves off, remove the stem. 2 lemons, one of them cut into cubes, and the other one zested and juiced. 1/4 cup of olive oil, and 1 cup of chicken broth. And I always opt for the reduced sodium. So essentially, you've got your Cornish hens, some seasonings, lemon, olive oil, broth. Now to make them. Start by preheating the oven to 425 Fahrenheit, which is about 220 Celsius. Then pat the Cornish hens dry with paper towels. This helps the seasonings stick to the skin better and helps make a crispier skin when you bake it. Season both the outside and the inside of the hens liberally with the salt and pepper. Then place 2 of the garlic cloves, 2 of the rosemary sprigs, 2 of the thyme sprigs, and half of the cubed lemon inside the cavity of each hen. This really is such a game changer for flavor. We are literally infusing from the inside out. You will be so glad you did this part. Tie the legs of the hens together with kitchen twine and tuck the wing tips underneath the body. Tucking them in keeps them from burning. Now, in a small bowl, mix together the olive oil, the rest of the chopped rosemary, thyme, zest and juice from the other lemon, and then rub that mixture all over the outside of the hens before placing them in a roasting pan with a rack, breast side down. If you do not have a rack for your roasting pan, the recipe will still work. You just won't have crispy skin on one side of the hen. Next, pour the chicken broth into the bottom of the pan, along with any leftover herbs and lemon pieces that didn't fit inside of the hen. Roast your Cornish hens for about an hour or until the hens get golden brown. If you're using a meat thermometer, make sure it reads 165 Fahrenheit when inserted into the thickest part of the thigh. That's about 75 degrees Celsius. And I would baste the hen with the pan juices every 20-ish minutes, which simply means use either a giant suction tube called a baster or literally a spoon, being careful not to burn yourself, and gather the juices from the pan and drizzle them over the chicken. This helps keep it juicy all the way through. Then, listen closely, this part is crucial. Once they come out of the oven, let the hens rest for at least 10 minutes outside of the oven before serving. This helps the juices redistribute through the meat, making it moist and juicy. No dry chicken on my watch. Do not skip this. Now for serving, you can cut each hen in half lengthwise along the breastbone and the backbone, or if your hens are small, you can also serve them whole with the pan juices if you'd like. I personally think the whole Cornish hens gives it a fancy old English dinner banquet vibe, and I love that. So that's usually what I go with. Then a couple of pro tips for you. Feel free to season these in advance and then store covered in the fridge for a day or two before roasting. You can also cook them ahead and then portion them into containers with a side for easy lunches. I mean, I love a good divide and conquer meal prep situation. As for reheating, while the microwave works in a pinch, I usually opt for either the oven or air fryer at 350 for a few minutes to re-crisp the skin and not totally zap the moisture out of the hen. Next up is a recipe that I can only make when my husband isn't the prime recipient, and that is honey roasted carrots. I love, love, love this one because it is the definition of simple with just 4 steps and 5 ingredients, and it is just so satisfyingly delicious. Here's what you will need. 2.5 to about 3 pounds of carrots. I like to get the rainbow carrots because they just present prettier on a table. But using all orange carrots totally works as well. 1 tablespoon of honey, 2 tablespoons of unsalted grass-fed butter, melted, 2 cloves of garlic, minced, a pinch of salt and ground black pepper, and optionally, for a garnish, about a tablespoon of fresh parsley or cilantro chopped really finely. We love a little green to finish it off. Here are the instructions. Start by preheating your oven to 425 Fahrenheit. Then wash and trim the hard tops or stems off the carrots. You can also slice them into smaller fork-sized pieces, but for simplicity's sake, I usually just leave them whole and cut the thicker carrots lengthwise down the middle, leaving the thinner carrots whole so that they all are about the same size and they cook at about the same rate. Place them all on a large baking sheet lined with parchment paper. Then in a small bowl, add your melted butter, honey, garlic, salt, and pepper. Stir it to mix it all together, then pour that mixture over the carrots and toss them until they are fully glazed with the sauce. Pop this pan in the oven for about 25 minutes, flipping them halfway through. And once they're done, they should have a nice caramelized glaze on them, tender but still crisp texture to the carrot. And then you can top them with that fresh parsley or cilantro just before serving. These can be refrigerated for, probably up to 3-ish days and served either reheated or chilled. So dang delicious. Now, I do love a fun beverage at holiday events, and this recipe is great because you can make a bunch at once for everyone. But if adults want to put some stank on it, as my husband would say, you can always add a little booze in individual servings. As for me and the kiddos, I like it as is. And this is my slow cooker cranberry apple cider. 4 ingredients. You need a liter of pure apple juice, unsweetened, a liter of pure cranberry juice, unsweetened, about 2 cups of pure orange juice, unsweetened, and 1/4 to 1/2 a cup of sweetener of your choice. You can use stevia, honey, coconut sugar, or some other sweetener, adding more or less to taste. 3 whole cinnamon sticks, and either 2 whole cloves or an 1/8 teaspoon of ground cloves. The ground cloves will dissolve in the warm slow cooker, so don't worry about it being gritty if that's the option that you have. Now for this recipe, all you're going to do is put all of those ingredients into a large slow cooker, ideally at least 4-quart capacity, and then stir it all up. Cook on low for at least 3 to 4 hours or until it's hot. And then keep it warm as long as you need it on the low or keep warm setting. This is great because leftovers refrigerate and reheat beautifully. You can drink it cold after it's been chilled. Plus, added bonus, this makes your house smell like you are inside a Christmas snow globe. So be prepared to feel the urge to wrap up in a fuzzy blanket with the fireplace going. And of course, you know me, we have got to include a healthy dessert option. This is a recipe adapted from my mom's homemade fudge that has been passed down for generations. Albeit, the original is far from healthful, but it is nostalgic. I clearly remember coming in the house every 30 minutes from playing in the snow to grab a little square of freshly made fudge while it was still in the pan, completely spoiling my dinner. But dang, that stuff was like crack. So, here is a healthier version with a holiday twist. Peppermint mocha fudge. You will need 2.5 cups of semi-sweet chocolate chips, 1/2 cup of full-fat coconut milk. I generally use the canned coconut milk all shaken together, or even coconut cream from the can for an even creamier, more decadent fudge. 1 tablespoon of instant coffee granules, 4 drops of peppermint essential oil, or half a teaspoon of peppermint extract, 1 to 4 tablespoons of maple syrup, depending on how sweet you want it and how dark your chocolate chips are, and then 1 teaspoon of sea salt or more for taste. Here are the instructions. Start by lining an 8x8 pan with parchment paper and let the parchment paper go over the edges, over the sides to create a sling. This will help you get it out of the pan later. Then in a small saucepan, melt the chocolate chips, coconut milk, instant coffee, maple syrup, and peppermint extract over medium-low heat. This should take anywhere between 7 to 12-ish minutes. And I usually taste test at this point to see if more maple syrup is needed. I start with 1 tablespoon and gradually add more if necessary. Once it's all melted, add in that teaspoon of salt. Gently pour all of the melted chocolate into your parchment paper lined pan. And if you want, you can top it with some more sea salt or even serving salt to add a delightful touch. Then the hard part. Refrigerate for at least 2 hours or until it's firm. And I mean it. This is worth the wait. Once it is firm, remove it from the pan and slice it into your small squares. Serve this cold or at room temperature. Now, you can swap the instant coffee for cocoa powder if you don't want the coffee element, and it works just as well. You can also opt to leave the peppermint out of the equation for just straight up chocolate fudge. Fully customizable, and a little goes a long ways with these guys. I generally cut them into 1-inch squares. And my pro tip for this one, pack a couple away in your own side stash because you will blink and this pan will be gone. And there you have it. An entire table's worth of healthy holiday food you can make to share, or if you're simply in the spirit and need some meal prep ideas for the week. I challenge you to try at least one of these recipes and then write me an email to show me how it went. It would absolutely make my day to hear from you. Of course, if you could use more step-by-step plans and ideas like this, join me in The Sustainable Way, my nutrition coaching program where I promise you will walk away with every tool you need to make healthy eating simple, sustainable, and enjoyable. The trifecta. Simply head to coachrain.com/nutrition coaching to learn more of the details and to get started ASAP. That's coachreign.com/nutrition coaching. And I'll see you there.
I pray this episode was helpful to you, my friend. If so, could you do me a massive favor and take 30 seconds to write a review? This is the best way to bless me big and help more people learn just how simple eating healthy consistently can be. And if you want more value-packed info from me, head to coachrain.com and sign up for the Weekly Harvest, my weekly emails filled with recipes, how to use food as medicine, biblical nutrition, and more. That's coachreign.com for the Weekly Harvest. Blessings until next time, sis. Toodles.